I started 2 different YouTube channels before. I started multiple business projects. I have a sketchbook that is half full, and I tried DJing before and only played like 2-3 shows in clubs, and then I stopped again. And there were so many things that I've started and then stopped in life or quit. And I always felt like I wasn't disciplined enough. There was something wrong with me. I was broken. But on the other side, I had many things that I did finish and complete and actually had great results in, like fitness. I met my girlfriend by approaching her on the street because I learned how to do that. And I also built my agency up to 48K per month on my copywriting business. And there was one thing I had to learn and one thing that made all the difference. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the process I had to go through and what I need to understand in order to actually start things and finish them. The things I tried back in the day, like building the YouTube channel and having the DJing stuff, and also there was a Shopify dropshipping store and then the Amazon FBA thing, was that these things, I usually gotten the ideas for these goals by seeing other people do this somewhere. Maybe I saw it online, maybe I saw something cool I was following. But the thing is, I wasn't having any real emotional meaning behind these things. And if you were to ask me back in the day why I did it, it would probably be an answer around like, oh, someone told me to do this. I saw this online. This is the new hype right now. This is what everybody's doing. So more reasoning from analogy instead of first principles, and to actually just copying what works right now instead of thinking for myself. On the other side, when I started hitting the gym here, or I got into marathon running for a while, or I started the agency, which I then built to 48K per month, I was actually very clear on the reason why I'm doing this. And that was the biggest difference that I had to understand, is the things that I start and finish, they started meaningful to me. They started to feel really meaningful and purposeful to me. And as an INFP, your strength is altruism, but this is also a weakness. So you have to find the balance between being very altruistic and also not being too altruistic. And one thing I dealt with that is to actually have normal goals, or to set like general goals that really excite you, but to make sure they have a strong meaning and a strong purpose behind it. And one of the best things that I found and that I did in all of these things, those goals were always aligned with my values. And I understood later on in life that if this is my goal, for example, okay, excuse my amazing drawing, and this is where I am right now, then obviously I want to go from where I am right now to my desired situation. Now, I can set just a random goal that excites me. For example, you're broke right now and you want to make 10K per month and you want to travel the world. This is your goal. This is your new desired situation. This is your current situation. By just setting this goal, it probably will end up feeling a little bit empty, even though it might excite you, and it also might not motivate you to go all the way, because once it starts getting hard and maybe you get 2K and it starts not working, or you don't start working at it at all, you're going to get frustrated and you stop because you don't have a strong why behind it. And what I understood later on is that you don't set these goals. For example, if I want to make 10K and travel the world, if that would be the goal, then I'm only doing this because I'm fulfilling my values with this. Okay, so in that case, I would have to believe that by doing this, I would fulfill my greatest values in life. And if that goal then aligns with my values, then I obviously feel a strong meaning behind it, because it feels so meaningful to me. Because if I start traveling the world and I make 10K, then I fulfill my greatest values in life. And that is what gives you an insane amount of purpose and meaning behind these goals, and make them really, they are useful and they have a point of being there. Okay, they don't feel pointless anymore. And what I did is I sat down and I worked on understanding what my values are. And there are multiple ways of doing this, but the best one, or one way that I found extremely useful, is to go back into your past and to look at turning points in your life. Okay, so For example, I went with 16 to the United States and I did a year abroad, and I couldn't speak English and I was extremely shy. I couldn't even say hello to a stranger, and I still did it all by myself, and this is a turning point in my life. And now, in order to understand my values and what drives me in those situations and why I'm doing this, I can just ask myself that. And I found out, for example, in that case, that I wanted to be different and I wanted to go my own path. Everyone else from my school was just going to a normal job. They started working or going to university, like these classical things. And I wanted to do something radical different that no one else did and that no one even did before, that I knew in my small town that I grew up in. And I wanted to go my own path. I didn't just want to follow the crowd. And that was such a strong driver that I went so far outside of my comfort zone in order to fulfill this value. And you see by just this example how much of a driver that is to fulfill your values. And back in the day, I did it unconsciously and was a match. But you can also do this consciously by actually sitting down. And once you understand and you have like your 3 to 4 or 5 like really important values, and you just go through like a few more turning points in your life, and then you look at your values and you ask yourself like, okay, those are my values, and what kind of goals can I set in all these areas of life? Like if you just Google areas for life, you'll find different models. But for example, for relationships, money or business, spirituality and health, like what goals can I set that will really align with my values and allow me to achieve those values and fulfill those values in life? And then you start writing down these goals. And once you see them, you probably already feel so much more aligned with them because they are your goals. They aren't just goals you saw online. And the reasoning is like, hey, I have these values and I believe, and this is my hypothesis, if I achieve these goals, then I will fulfill these values. And then you don't have the problem that you kind of feel unhappy until you finally reach the goal, and you can feel happy now. You feel fulfilled along the way because you're on a journey that feels so aligned with your values every single day. And that is, in my opinion, one of the things that gives you so much joy and fulfillment in life.